Dynamic pricing. In dynamic pricing, you set flexible prices based on current or forecasted demand. In other words, there is a big fluctuation in the prices. Obviously, your aim is to use the price in order to increase the demand. Usually what happens is you try to lower the price for the low season, so when the demand is low, in order to increase it. And then in the periods of high demand, you try to increase the price to earn more. So let's imagine that we got the results from specific industry and we would like to apply the dynamic pricing here. Obviously, the first thing to do is to identify the low seasons. In this case, they would be in those 3 places. Now, if you would to apply the dynamic pricing concept in this specific case, you would first of all decrease the price in low seasons and increase the price in some of the high seasons. In this way, I would get a set of different prices. I can have at least 3 prices here. So one for the low seasons, another one for the high seasons, and then maybe a third one for the regular periods. Obviously, I can have different prices for each and every period, so they may actually be more than 3. Now, this concept is obviously highly used in hotels and airlines. And here you've got an example of airlines using this concept. So the minimal price of a flight is £15. The maximal is 202. And as you can see, on different days, we get a different price. Let's have a look when dynamic pricing is a useful concept. So first of all, it helps if you have a high fixed cost. In this situation, additional revenue that you will generate by playing with the price will help you to increase the gross margin. Dynamic pricing is also a useful option if it's difficult to fast scale up or down your operations. In other words, you cannot decrease the size of your operations if the demand is bigger. In these cases, obviously, you want to attract additional demand by playing with the price in order to cover at least part of your fixed costs. Another situation where dynamic pricing makes sense is when the consumers attach different value to your product or service, and by playing with the price, you can attract new groups of customers. So, for example, if somebody is sensitive to price changes and he will, generally speaking, not visit your business during high season, you can attract him to the low season by decreasing the price. Obviously, dynamic pricing requires certain, preferably high price elasticity. In other words, it requires the demand to grow as you decrease the price. Now, let's talk about the 3 things that will help to apply dynamic pricing. So first of all, if the customer has a limited ability to learn the logic behind the price changes, or customer will most likely not apply the learnings in the future. So if you have a situation where customers will learn when there is a low price and they can take advantage of that, then the logic of your business may change, and at some point the dynamic pricing may not be effective. Therefore, if you go to the sites of the most airlines, you will see that there is certain unpredictability in the price that you can expect there. And finally, there should be no reason why the customer cannot buy more of your product. In other words, we not only want to attract new customers through dynamic pricing, but we actually want to convince the customers are already buying our product to buy more of that. So if we were talking about hip replacement, then dynamic pricing may not work. So in short, dynamic pricing works well if you have a high fixed cost. It is difficult to scale up or down your business. And obviously, if people are responsive to the price changes, in other words, they will increase their demand if you lower the price.